Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 639. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Saturday the 6th of January, 2024.
I almost corrected you and said, oh no, it's December, and then I realized it was not.
Yeah, that is true. It is not, even though it feels very cold. Michael sent me some, prediction from a European weather model, and it's like
snow,
it's going to be negative next week. And I'm like,
so the kids were asking me
I
at
don't
work.
know that's going to happen.
Yeah, so the kids at work were like, how cold does it have to be until we get out of school for it being too cold? And I was like, it will never get that cold here. Just because,
Historically, it doesn't.
Historically, it has not, ever. But also, my school district, I don't even think has a plan for that because it has never happened. I told them below zero, and they said, well, that's 30 degrees. And I said, no, it was below 30 degrees this morning. Below zero, friends.
Yeah, I can't remember if we've ever had negative temperatures here.
Since I've lived here, the coldest it's gotten down to was 12 degrees at night.
Yeah.
And I only know that because my pipes froze.
Oh, okay.
Even with because Mississippi is not made insulation wise
for the same way as places that get cold.
Yeah. So my pipes, we are mostly, I would say 90% of homes built in Mississippi are on cement slabs.
Yeah.
We don't do basements here because of the silt level of the soil, and the pipes are in the slabs. So there's no real way to warm those up if they start freezing.
Yeah, so you have to essentially let your faucet drip all night so the water's moving. At least that's what we did.
That's the old wives' tale, okay. Yeah.
No idea if that's accurate, but anyhow, this is not a weather podcast. This is a knitting podcast.
If it was a weather podcast, we would totally have Michael on it.
We would. But we would record 3 times a year.
Maybe.
And it would be canceled twice of those 3 times. It's funny because Michael and I, we both work for the same company, and so we both use the same nurse practitioner.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know how long Michael has used her, but I've used her for 15 plus years before I moved to Jersey. And I was so glad she was still here when I came back from Jersey. But, so she knows us pretty well, and she services only the casino employees.
Yeah.
So it's a relatively small, it's maybe 1,500 people.
Yeah.
So she knows most people by sight, at least.
Yeah.
And we've been going for so long, she knows us pretty well. And I had a med checkup, and so we can do med checkups video now, which is great. And so I had one a couple of weeks ago, and she was asking, how Michael's doing, how Kobe was doing. And she said, well, it looks like Michael's got an appointment scheduled the first week of January. She's like, but I know he'll cancel it and reschedule it a couple times before he actually comes. And I'm like, yeah, he will.
Sounds about right.
Until he has no choice but to go in. So, yep, my life is amazing.
He's keeping the dogs occupied right now, though.
He is, begrudgingly.
He'll be alright.
Yeah. So, knitting.
Knitting.
What are you
I
working on?
have just one thing in progress that is being actively worked on, and that is a baby hat.
Okay.
I'm laughing because, Leslie kind of knows the backstory. So on Tuesday, one of my coworkers came to me and was like, hey, one of our other coworkers is pregnant. She's new this year. But the coworker who approached me is not new. I've known her for a long time. And she's like, so-and-so's pregnant. I really want to give her a hand-knit hat and matching mitts for the baby shower. And
But this friend doesn't knit.
No. And I was like, uh-huh. And she's like, I'll pay you if you do this. And she's like, and I'll buy the yarn. And I was like, uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I will use stash yarn because I have some stash yarn.
And
I will just,
Are we sure?
Yes, just a smidge. It's getting low.
It's one bin under the bed, that's all.
Lies. Liza Minnelli lies. So I'm just going to charge her for my time, is what I told her. So we'll see what I actually decide on charging her. But I am knitting a teeny tiny hat. Look at how teeny tiny that is.
It is very teeny.
And I'm using the like 8-inch circulars from the interchangeables that Tragu has. So when I use these, I do one long needle, so it's actually longer than 8 inches, and one short needle, because that makes my hands happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I am knitting. Woolly Wormhead has a free trio of baby hat patterns called Trio of Hats, and this is going to be the pixie versions. It's going to have a little point. Y'all will never see it. I'll put a, I guess there's a baby shower this week. I don't know. I'll put a picture on the podcast. This is not someone that I know really well. She's a math teacher, so she never comes to the library, so I'll probably just end up giving her, like, a board book.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's underway. This is the DK weight of Old Rusted Chair in the IJLTF colorway. So yeah, just it's gonna be a teeny tiny pixie hat. I'll put pictures on Instagram, but the Knit Girls and my own personal, which is Lala Knits, when it's done. But yeah, it's bright colors. I was informed that it needed to be girl colors, whatever those are, and so I went with this. Pulling some yarn out of the stash and some good yarn. Lou's amazing. We love Old Rusted Chair.
Mm-hmm.
She's a good person. So, yep, that is what... The only thing that I am working on, the Elf Baby hat is that I'm going to have hand spun is on hold until I finish this, because this actually has a deadline,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is just for funsies. So I started this last night as I watched Penguins game, and yeah. That's about it. That's all I got. I'm knitting on size 4 needles. I'm actually using the size recommended, but I knit the preemie hat size so that it would be...
It would average out to what
Yeah. Because I did not feel like going below size 4 needles for a baby hat. That just seems silly.
I am begrudgingly knitting ribbing with a worsted yarn on 6s, and it's very painful.
Wow,
for my hands.
that is very low for you.
Yeah.
That's a very pretty yarn, though. I like that a lot.
It calls for 5s for the ribbing, and I'm like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So what are you making?
So I cast on, in my goal to knit SSK stash.
That came from SSK?
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
So this is, you don't have to sound so surprised. This is Republica Unicornia
Yep.
in the Electric Disco Clam colorway.
Yes, that was her SSK colorway.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Well,
know that.
premiered to SSK.
It's a Rambouillet worsted, so it's very bouncy. And it's a... it's getting washed out crazily.
Oh, yeah.
It's looking more like bluey purple on the
It's
screen.
a neon peach.
Yeah.
It's the only color of peach that I actually like.
It's a pinky kind of peach. So
Yep.
it's not quite as dark as it's appearing on screen, but it is a very, very bright pink. And it made me think of Laura has a picture that she uses for some of her bios when she's teaching.
Yeah.
And it's her in this very bright pink hat.
Yeah. That was from the Madison Knit-In. I was walking through a hallway and was like, this is a good, nice light for me. And so I took that picture.
Well, I don't have enough hats, apparently, because I keep leaving them places.
Oh, no.
And then I have to take the dogs out, and unless I go out with them, they won't do their business. And it's very cold right now. It actually is cold. It's been in the, like, 20s and 30s.
You need to get you a little hat tree or something
So,
for by your door.
I've got one by the front door where I hang all my jackets and stuff, but for some reason my hats don't end up there. I don't know why. But anyway, so I want to knit a couple more hats. A couple of the ones I want to knit are Fair Isle, and I'm using some Why Not yarn for that, but I'll talk about that when I knit them. So yeah, I'm just doing the ribbing. I just cast this on yesterday, and it is the
That's the Brighter Days hat?
Brighter Days hat by Sweater Freak. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I really like the color that's in the pattern because I like the pops of purple. Kind of like what Laura's knitting, but it's got more pink than Laura's does.
Yep, more ready pink.
So yeah, there is only one size in the pattern, but it's sized for a circumference of 21 inches, which is about what my head is. So
it looks like it would be pretty easy to change.
Yeah, I think it's just a multiple of 2 stitches or 4 stitches at the most. So you know, the whole pattern is like this long. It's pretty easy. It looks pretty easy to memorize. So, yeah, I cast that on. Last night, I actually hand wound the thing because I didn't feel like going upstairs because Michael was working on the flooring. And
Have we discussed the flooring on the podcast? Leslie's getting new flooring in her hallway.
So the main floor, my house has 2 floors, and the main floor, ever since we bought it, has been like a wood or wood laminate. I don't know which one it is, and I don't care. But the stairs and all the upstairs rooms, which is this room, Michael's office, Kobe's bedroom, and a bathroom, and the hallway, those are all carpet. And it's original to the house, which means it's 25 years old.
Your house is the same age as my house.
Cool.
Which was the year that I graduated high school.
Oh, then mine's 26 years old.
Oh, okay.
Because it was 98.
Okay.
In the year 99. So.
Yeah, it's 2004 now. Right? I don't know. Math. Whatever.
Did you say it's 2004 now? I'm pretty sure that's what you just
maybe.
said.
Welcome to my life.
24.
I've written that multiple times too. I just dropped that 20.
Yeah. We so anyway, the carpet with 2 dogs who are both still not 100% potty trained, that carpet needed to go. So Michael pulled up the carpet
and it was stretched and it just
it was falling apart. It's 25 years old, right? So he pulled up the carpet in the hallway, complained a whole lot, and then the hallway is like a sort of an L shape.
Yeah.
And he put all of the laminate going towards Kobe's room, which is sort of like a dead end, going one way, and all of the other part of the L, the wood, going the other way, which I don't understand why he did that. And I asked him last night. I was like, I'm not criticizing, because like I'm not doing it. So,
yeah.
But why did you do this? Apparently because it would have been a pain to cut the wood the other way. So I'm like, whatever.
Yep.
But anyway, I don't come up here when he's working on stuff because it's just not worth the hassle, honestly.
Secrets to a happy marriage right there.
Pick your battles.
Yep.
That's my number 1 piece of advice. Decide what's really important. So, the other thing that I've been working on is the Directions top by Claudia Eisenkolb.
You made good progress on that this week.
I feel like I did make pretty good progress. So I finished the left sleeve. These stitches down here are live because it'll be part of the body of the sweater.
Because it's like a dolman.
Mm-hmm. And then I fixed the section that was twisted right here. Where was it? Yep, right there. By snipping 1 stitch and undoing the row. There was only like 8 stitches in the row. And then starting with a new, essentially Kitchenering or grafting those 2 sides together. Again, just like if it was the toe of a sock. It's nice sometimes to have enough experience in a craft to be able to just know intuitively how to fix something without needing to look it up.
That's very true.
Because I don't know that I would have been able to figure out
how to look that up.
Right.
Yeah.
If I hadn't, like, had all this experience. So
look at you.
I'm happy about that. So I started the right sleeve and I'm 3 repeats in. I think I have to do 9 before I join in the round for the little bit that's actually a sleeve. So I'm trying to do a repeat a day where I can. I couldn't the other day because I would have to go upstairs to wind yarn, so I was like, darn the luck.
That's when you knit on, you cast on a hat.
Yeah. So that is Directions by Claudia Eisenkolb, and everything we talk about is in our show notes, and our show notes are on our website, which is TheKnitGirlls with 3 L's .com. So that lives in my chicken boots bag.
Yeah, she sold that pattern to Jimmy Beans.
Oh, did she?
And now they're producing chicken boots bags.
That's cool. Good for her.
Yep.
It's going to need a wash because it's getting kind of dingy.
Yep. It happens.
And then the last thing that I'm working on...
I would like soak... Well, you know what I would use? Not that you asked my opinion, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Power Scour. Like, soak it in Power Scour. Go from there.
Power Scour is...
magic.
Yeah, it is pretty magic. I will admit to that. Christine was sending me pictures of Amanda was using the pop lock.
Oh, was
because
she?
She got her Carter.
She did.
And,
yesterday was her birthday. I should have sent her a happy birthday message.
Yeah, whole bunch of other fun stuff for her. But, yeah, so she sent me this picture of this big, like, bucket full of opened locks.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
I was like, that's going to be so nice.
Oh, look at that.
So I showed you guys I had cast on 4 pressed flowers, the cardigan, last week. This is more SSK yarn. And I was on the ribbing, I'm pretty sure, last week.
Because I have not seen any of the color bits.
So I've finished, like, the first half of the chart. And it's using the Noro as the color. And it'll change as I go through the pattern. But yeah, I'm happy with it. It's pretty simple. Once you know, the repeats are like, I don't know, 12 stitches or something. It's relatively easy to learn. Repeat, and things line up in a geometric way, so it makes sense. And yeah, so this is Pressed Flowers by Amy Christophers. And
I need her to get her website up and put stuff available not on RAF. It says coming soon.
You should message her.
I will. Because I wanted to use that. I'm teaching a class, and I wanted to use that as an example of mosaic knitting, but it's not.
Yeah. And it's hard because there are accessibility issues with Ravelry.
Yeah.
And we know that. So when possible, we try to link things off of RAF. Not all designers have their patterns off of RAF, so. Anyhow. Yeah, so I like this. I like knitting this more than I like knitting the directions, but that's because this is a looser gauge and the directions is a tighter gauge, even though I want the top for the directions. I like knitting this better, so.
I think that's gorgeous.
I have to force myself to knit on the other thing before I knit on this thing.
Set a timer, yep.
Yeah.
Or you're doing 1 repeat, so that works.
Just had a bunch of stitches jump off the needle.
Oh no. I was going to ask you how long it takes you to do 1 repeat of directions.
I have no idea. Because I don't measure myself like that. It takes me about about 2 episodes of Parks and Rec to get through a bobbin of weaving. I can tell you that. Because I restarted Parks and Rec for the, 8th time.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted something I didn't have to pay attention to. And it didn't stress me out like all the crime shows stress me out. So.
Yeah. So, yeah. Drag Race came back last night.
Yeah, I heard about that. And I'm pretty sure there is a New Year's treat for Taskmaster.
Okay.
I think. So we have something we can watch tomorrow.
There we go.
What about spinning?
I did finish. I finished all my deadline stuff, like all my socks, and it's already been sent off, which is lovely. Are you going to fix that for me? I was just going to keep going. Because I like to ignore problems until they get huge. Story of my life.
This is not my problem, so it doesn't bother me to try to fix it.
Alright, so spinning. I have 2 finished skeins and then a bunch of bobbins to show. So this is some Wee Chickadee in the Yuletide colorway. It was a one-of-a-kind colorway. I got over 900 yards of a 2-ply, but I think after washing it's more around 900 yards. This was on Cordale. I might use it to make the Andrea Mowry new shawl that came out. Yeah, I can't remember its name, but yep. So that is that. And then I had spun some Hello yarn, and I had lost the bag that this was in, so I have no idea about fiber composition or colorway names. It was a club colorway, I'm pretty sure. But yep, so that is 450 yards as well. And then what's on the bobbins? So, I started at my parents' house some Mer People by Inglenook.
That is a full bobbin. Well, not quite, but...
It's around 5.5 ounces, I think. It is a Falkland. I was trying to spin it thicker. I am going to chain ply it, so we'll see what I end up getting. No plans for this as of yet.
Is that the whole bat?
Yeah, it's the whole braid of fiber. So, yep, that will be chain plied, and it's like a gradient.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Yeah. So, that was actually, I bought that in December and spun right away once it got here. And then, the last thing that I'm working on is I am spinning for Joji Locatelli has a newer sweater called Stripey Unicorn. So I wanted to do some stash diving for that. So I have some Into the World in the Harding Cats colorway on Falkland. And I'm spinning it and pairing it with this Jacob that I got from Round Barn at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. It's a sport weight. This calls for a sport weight. So, I need around 1,000 yards of the contrast. So this is the first.
Oh, wow.
8 ounces. Should be around, hopefully, 700 yards of a sport weight.
You spun that faster than I thought.
Okay.
It's not a judgment. It's just...
So that's 8 ounces there, and then I have the other one. I spun it fractal, which means I divided one of the braids into thirds. So there should be a lot of barber pooling in it, because while I love the turquoise and purpley bits, and even the orange, this yellow is not my favorite, so I'm hoping it'll constantly be kind of barber pulling up. And it's not, when you look at the braid, it's not like a ton more so on that side than this side.
Yeah.
So, and they typically do, when Into the World dies, they do like a repetition of colorway, like it repeats across the braid at least once, sometimes 3 times. So, it just must be how it lays in the pans. So yeah, this is going on the Daedalus Starling. That's what I was spun those other ones on. And then I'm going to actually start plying, because I finished those bobbins yesterday, so I can start plying them and then swatching. And hopefully it works. If not, I will have 12 ounces of fiber to use for another project.
You're doing so much spinning.
Spinning's bringing me joy. So, I enjoy spinning. This was all spun, the singles at my parents' house. And then I had started the Mer People afterwards.
It's got a definite Christmas.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's why I'm like, do I want to make the shawl with it and then have like a Christmassy type shawl? But I don't know what else I would do with it besides use it in like a sweater.
Yeah.
So, and it's Cordale. So that's spun pretty thin. I would definitely say like a fingering weight single. Or fingering weight plied. And same with this.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I like that rusty. It's pretty soft. I'm guessing it's a Falkland, if I had to guess.
And Falkland's an area, right?
Yep.
It's not.
It's a group of
braid.
islands that, so when people talk about Falkland wool, they're talking about the wool pool. So a wool pool is when farmers bring all their wool to sell at a market, and they kind of all go together, and usually it's sold by, like, you get so much money per pound. And then everything that comes out of that, and it's like any breed that's grown in Falkland. A lot of people like Falkland because of the islands. It's disease resistant. The sheep there are disease resistant, and so there's less chemical treating supposedly. But it's just it's very similar to
Hog Islands.
No.
Is our Hog Island sheep one specific breed, or?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they evolved as a group. So with Hog Island, so Falkland, like the farmers are constantly, like they're not constantly, but they can add new stock if they need to. Hog Island is an island off the coast of Virginia where the sheep were left to go feral. So there were no humans there after a hurricane came through for over 100 years. So they adapted to the island specifically. Kind of like those sheep in islands off the coast of Europe somewhere where they eat seaweed. Because over time they've evolved to just, and now they can't like put them other places because they can't survive on grass anymore because they've evolved to only eat those seaweed. But Hog Islands are similar to like the breeds that that were brought over in like pre-colonial America.
I forget, you can't start Laura talking on this subject. Because she knows things and she likes to teach people and share things.
Yeah. So Hog Island's a good example of like evolution over time, whereas like Falkland They can still bring in genetics, and there's farmers working to breed in for specific traits, whether it's for meat or for fleece. Cool. If you're interested in learning more about any breed of sheep, Deborah Ibsen has the Fleece and Fiber Source book. She is an expert. I do not consider myself an expert at all. And some other thing to mention, Hog Island's like critically endangered because there's only like 40 of them in existence right now, whereas Falkland, any sheep on the islands
is a Falkland sheep.
Yep, is a Falkland sheep. So once they get there, they're a Falkland. But yeah, and Deb offers like retreats and stuff. It's on the bucket list of someday because they're on that island off the coast of Washington.
Oh, okay. Jane Stafford's in British Columbia, not Canada. We had a viewer mention that last week, which is good because I didn't realize that. So, because we were talking about Jane Stafford before.
Oh, okay.
The weaving teacher.
The weaving teacher, yep.
Yeah. As far as what I'm listening to and or reading...
You don't have any spinning?
Not to talk... I mean, I'm still spinning the hip strings.
Yeah.
But, like, I got 3 ounces on a bobbin, so it's, like, 2 ounces more than last week, and that's it.
That's... Progress is progress.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to show, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, I've been spinning, I've been weaving a little bit.
And your wheel's working okay?
Yarn. Yeah.
After its
trauma. Its field trip through Jordy's jaw, it still managed to survive. Yes. So far today, so it's 2 p.m. I've been up since about 8, and
are we playing What Has Jordy Destroyed today? Oh, fun.
Yes. So he got a toothbrush. He got a spatula out of the sink. I assume Kobe's bathroom. It got thrown away. So
Kobe might need a new toothbrush for tomorrow. Does he know?
We have extras. He hasn't come out of his room yet. So a toothbrush, a spatula, a cinnamon roll, which was on the... I had cooked cinnamon rolls this morning, and they were in a pan on the very back part of the stove. Didn't know he was tall enough to reach that. Apparently he is. He was very happy with himself and tried it out with a cinnamon roll in his mouth. He'd eaten half of it by the time I even noticed.
At least there's nothing really there.
What else has he gotten today? Oh, fur. So I have this fur, or this sheepskin I got from IKEA years ago. And I had it sitting on the cat tree because the cats like to sleep on it. And he took that.
That's what Pearl destroyed, was the... Yeah.
And that might be it so far today. We have been out several times. So, anyhow. Yeah, so as far as what I'm reading and listening to, I haven't updated the show notes, but I'm listening to Magical Midlife.
Oh, there's a new one that came out.
Whatever, yeah. I had been reading them, and it's a little too... I find I have these very niche requirements for books that I'm reading. Like, I like some degree of romance, but I don't like a lot of, like, internal dialogue about the romance. Like, so-and-so is thinking so much about XYZ. And fawning over them in their mind, or I don't know, it drives me nuts. So if I get to that in a book, I can't. I have to drop it. I have to skip it. It probably says something about
Fourth
my
Wing
psyche.
would not be for you.
Okay, good to know. And so reading those books was awkward, but I like the idea of the Magical Midlife, whatever. I forget what it's called, but it's by K.F. Breen. And but listening to it, I can pay attention to what I'm doing instead of the audio. So, and I can make it go faster until I get through
4 times speed
stuff I don't like. So, and then I'm not really reading anything specific. I keep trying books, and I haven't really found anything that's grabbed my attention. So, what about you?
I'm still listening to Fourth Wing because it is very long, and I got distracted by having to work this week. Whatever.
Lame.
I did read the sequel to Hunt the Stars called Eclipse the Moon. I got it from the public library, and I downloaded the third from the public library as well. But in the meantime, I am rereading all the Sinner's Gin series by Reese Ford because the new one comes out this month, and they have not written anything in years. Like pre-COVID, I think.
I love the Irish accent that the audiobooks
give
you.
Should listen to the audiobooks.
They're in my Audible. They do that Irish accent really well.
Well, I'm on the last one right now. I just have the short stories left, so I'm on book 7, and then I have the short stories. So I even read the novellas in between. Like, there's a novella where it's Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Or maybe it's Valentine's.
It's Valentine's Day where he gets the giant.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, so rereading those before the new one comes out, and watching the Percy Jackson, watching lots of hockey, football. Today's probably the last game for the Steelers. So watching that. Baltimore, who's already clinched the division.
So if
we'll
the Steelers win, then what happens?
Nothing.
Oh. So it's their last game regardless.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right.
Like, they have to win, and, like, other people have to lose in a certain specific way. And I don't even know that that's even an option anymore. So, whatever. It's not been a great season for them. Their quarterback's been hurt a lot, and other things have not been going great. But the Penguins are picking up. They beat Boston 2 nights ago. That's the game that I was watching last night, because Thursday nights we do SSK Zooms.
We being Laura. I have no part in it.
We being the people who join me. So if you are attending SSK, there is a Zoom on Thursday nights from 6 until 8 Central Time. So, yeah. That is about it for me. All the plots and all the plans for the new year. I want to knit, like, all the sweaters. I think I put 10 in my list for the year, and hopefully I'll get... Last year I knit 2.5 sweaters.
I mean, you get what you get.
So, we'll see. Adult sweaters for me. So, we'll see what happens there. I should finish Floodlight. I just have the hem and, like, trim to do.
Yeah.
So, maybe I will finish that up first while I'm still spinning for
Mystic Square?
No, the Hohi Locatelli Stripey Unicorn. I have that one braid left. And then I'm spinning for Mystic Square. I went and pulled apart 4 braids yesterday, and I am going to make a 3-ply because it calls for a worsted, I believe, and that is pretty thick for me to do. So I'm going to think thick and spin for that. But yeah, that's about it. You can join us on Patreon. We'll have 2 Patreons coming up this month.
Yep.
We also have a Discord where we sit around and chat, and that's about it. We're pretty chill right now. This is like the time of year that all I want to do is hibernate and spin.
I just want to sleep.
That's also good. Also an option.
Yeah. I've been having these fun migraines that wake me up.
Oh, no.
Which is super... I'd gone like a month and a half without one, and then Friday morning at like 2, it was like, yay!
My friend, my work friend, I ended up subbing for her on Friday because she had a migraine that was so bad it was causing her to vomit.
Yeah, mine don't typically get that bad, which I'm very, very grateful for, but they can be annoying.
But it was nice to be in the room. The kids were testing, so I sat there and stared at them and knit on my brother-in-law socks. That's how I got them done. So,
all right.
Yep.
Well, I think that's it for this week. We will talk to you again
next week.
Yep, next week. You guys have a good one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.